Have you ever wondered what actually happens to your mind when loneliness becomes a constant companion? Whether it's from moving to a new city, losing close relationships, or just feeling disconnected despite being surrounded by people. Your brain does notice, and the effects can be more profound than you might expect. Let's break it down. The stress response. First, cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. Chronic loneliness triggers elevated cortisol levels, putting your brain in a prolonged state of alert. When social connection is absent, your brain interprets this as a threat similar to physical danger. This can lead to feeling constantly on edge, hypervigilant, or unable to fully relax, especially if loneliness has become your default state. Your body wasn't designed to maintain high stress levels indefinitely, and over time this takes a toll. Next up is inflammation. Loneliness doesn't just affect your emotions, it affects your body at a cellular level. Research shows that prolonged isolation can trigger inflammatory responses in the brain. This inflammation has been linked to cognitive decline, memory problems, and even increased risk of neurodegenerative conditions. Your brain literally experiences loneliness as a form of chronic stress that manifests physically. Then there's the reward system. Social connection activates the same reward pathways in your brain that food and other survival needs do. When loneliness persists, these pathways get less stimulation, which can dampen your overall sense of pleasure and motivation. That's why lonely people often report feeling less excited about activities they used to enjoy. It's not laziness or apathy, it's your brain conserving energy when social rewards aren't available. Sleep and circadian rhythms. What about sleep? Loneliness has a sneaky way of disrupting your rest. Studies show that lonely individuals experience more fragmented sleep, even when they're getting the same number of hours as socially connected people. This happens because your brain remains in a subtle state of vigilance, subconsciously scanning for threats when it perceives you're isolated. Poor sleep then compounds other mental health issues, creating a vicious cycle. You're tired, so you withdraw more, so you feel lonelier. And the lonelier you feel, the worse you sleep. It's a loop that's hard to break without intentional intervention. Your brain is trying to protect you, but in doing so, it's actually making recovery harder. Cognitive function and memory. Loneliness doesn't just make you feel bad, it can actually change how well your brain works. Over time, chronic loneliness has been associated with decreased cognitive performance, particularly in areas like attention, processing speed, and executive function. These are the skills you use to plan, make decisions, and solve problems. When you're lonely for extended periods, your brain's ability to focus and think clearly can genuinely suffer. Memory is especially vulnerable. The hippocampus, your brain's memory center, is highly sensitive to stress hormones. Prolonged loneliness keeps cortisol elevated, which can interfere with memory formation and retrieval. This is why people who have been lonely for a long time sometimes report feeling foggy or forgetful. Nothing's fundamentally broken. Your brain is just operating under difficult conditions. Depression and anxiety. For many individuals, prolonged loneliness becomes a significant risk factor for depression and anxiety disorders. This isn't just correlation, it's causation in many cases. When your brain is deprived of meaningful social interaction, it struggles to regulate mood effectively. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which help stabilize emotions, can become imbalanced. Anxiety often shows up because loneliness puts your brain in threat detection mode. You start perceiving social situations as more dangerous or rejecting than they actually are. Your brain becomes hypersensitive to signs of exclusion or criticism. This can make reaching out to others feel terrifying, even when connection is exactly what you need. It's a cruel irony. Depression can develop when loneliness persists because your brain starts to believe the isolation is permanent or deserved. Negative thought patterns get reinforced. Your brain begins to construct narratives like nobody cares about me or I'll always be alone. These aren't truths. They're your brain trying to make sense of painful circumstances, but without correction they become deeply embedded beliefs. The perception shift. Here's something crucial to understand. Loneliness actually changes how you perceive social interactions. Research shows that chronically lonely people are more likely to interpret neutral social cues as negative. Delayed text response becomes evidence of rejection. Casual comment feels like criticism. An unreturned smile seems like deliberate exclusion. This isn't paranoia or oversensitivity. It's your brain's threat detection system working overtime. When you've been lonely for a while, your brain becomes biased towards spotting potential social threats. This made sense evolutionarily. Being excluded from the group was dangerous, but in modern life, this hypersensitivity often backfires. It makes you withdraw further, reinforcing the very loneliness you're trying to escape. Self-worth and identity. Loneliness also impacts how you see yourself. Humans are inherently social creatures. We develop our sense of self largely through relationships and social feedback. When meaningful connections are absent, your brain has fewer positive inputs to draw from when constructing your self-image. Over time, this can erode confidence and self-worth. You might start questioning your value, your likability, or whether you even deserve connection. These doubts aren't reflections of reality. They're symptoms of prolonged isolation affecting your self-perception. Without regular positive social interactions to counter them, these negative beliefs can become entrenched. This is why loneliness often feels like it's about something being wrong with you, when really it's about circumstances and brain chemistry, the physical health connection. Your mental and physical health are deeply intertwined, and loneliness affects both. The chronic stress from prolonged isolation weakens your immune system, increases blood pressure, and raises your risk for cardiovascular problems. Your brain and body are constantly communicating, and when your brain is stuck in loneliness mode, it sends distress signals throughout your entire system. Some researchers have compared the health impact of chronic loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not hyperbole. The physiological effects are measurable and significant. Your brain's stress response, when activated continuously by loneliness, creates wear and tear on virtually every system in your body. So is loneliness permanently damaging? Here's the good news. While chronic loneliness has serious effects, your brain is remarkably resilient. Neuroplasticity means your brain can heal and rewire itself when circumstances change. Reconnecting with others, building new relationships, or deepening existing ones can reverse many of loneliness's negative effects. The inflammatory responses can decrease. Sleep can improve, cognitive function can recover. The key is intervention. Loneliness rarely resolves itself because of those perception shifts we talked about. Your brain's threat detection bias makes reaching out feel risky. But connection, even small doses, starts to retrain your brain. A brief conversation, a shared activity. Regular contact with even one trusted person. These experiences provide evidence that contradicts your brain's loneliness narrative. What's the takeaway? Loneliness isn't just an emotion, it's a whole brain experience that affects stress, cognition, perception, and physical health. The longer it persists, the deeper its effects. But your brain isn't broken. It's responding to real deprivation of a fundamental human need. The solution isn't just positive thinking. It's actively rebuilding connection even when your brain screams that it's unsafe. And remember, feeling lonely doesn't mean you're defective. It means you're human and your brain is signaling that something essential is missing. Listen to that signal. Your mental health depends on it.